Hello, hello. I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody this evening. How about I share my screen so you know where you're coming into? If I go to there. Just wait a few minutes because we chopped and changed just to make it easier for people to find where we are. Hello, Claudia Gray, but you can't hear me. Okay, so is that better? Okay, good. So there's a few more that are to join. Actually, I'll mute that one. Okay, so we might get started. I might put this up here. Okay, so tonight we're looking at cooking essentials or cooking with essential oils. And I absolutely love supporting people who are motivated to naturally improve their lives with a whole lot of natural products, but especially have a extra passion for essential oils because we can do so much with them. And tonight's an opportunity to get comfortable with essential oils, and my hope is that, and desires, if you've not started already, then today is the beginning of your essential oil journey. So the statements that we make during tonight have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and nothing is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. So there's a Um, yep, so welcome everybody. And so why doTERRA? Many, many reasons why I love doTERRA. Just rearrange my furniture here so I can see messages as well. Number one is their co-impact sourcing. They source oils from all over the world. So each oil is derived from its indigenous environment. And that means where they are grown and harvested in their proper climate, experiencing the right seasons and soil, and they end up a far superior product. And this is where doTERRA's commitment to purity begins. The second reason is that there were no essential oil standards, so they created the CPTG, or Certified Pure Tested Grade. And this is really important because it means there are zero fillers or synthetics or dyes or pesticides or contaminants of any kind. Just pure, unadulterated oils grown by very experienced farmers in their indigenous lands. And doTERRA created this standard as a promise of purity with every batch. And every batch is third-party tested so that you can be confident, not just their purity, but their potency as well. And many of you probably have heard that 1 drop of peppermint oil is like 28 cups of peppermint tea, just to give you an idea of how potent. I'm not playing this tonight because internet can be a little bit dodgy, but if you just Google Dr. Hill, doTERRA Chief Medical Officer, there's some amazing videos that you can tune into that David has put together. He's an amazing man, and so many of us, every person I've ever met, holds him in very high regard, just for his ethics and his morals, as well as his oil knowledge. Another area that really impresses me is the source to you, and you can just Google, that's actually a website name, and you and your family actually deserve the best of everything. And so when you look at Source to You, you can learn about the growers, you can see videos on the growers, you can learn about the guys that run the distilleries, but you can also learn how doTERRA is incorporating the oils, or how the medical fraternity has grabbed the doTERRA oils, but also how the scientific world has researched and supports doTERRA and the oils. Some more amazing things that doTERRA does is they've created Healing Hands Foundation. It's a non-profit organisation committed to improving the lives through partnering with organisations around the world to give hopes to millions of people. It brings healing and hope around the world and helps free lives from disease and poverty, but also, hello Kim, but also, there's so many things. It'd be great for you to go to, if you just go to YouTube and Google Healing Hands, you can learn how they're helping free children from the sex trade. They support the guys with Operation Underground Railroad. Another one that I love is the co-impact sourcing, and that gives a higher commitment to the growers, because a lot of the growers are emerging communities. Then doTERRA's organised long-term contracts with them. They put in agronomists to help improve the farming techniques, but they also make sure that there's running water, that there's housing, there's schooling, there's any medical that they need. So how do we use the oils? There's 3 different ways. So topically, we can apply the oils to the skin. So usually we go to wrist points, behind the ears, those two dimples either side of the dimples either side of our spine where it attaches to our head are great spots. But also putting it on where our body needs a bit of love if there's some physical discomfort. But always dilute it. 1 drop of essential oil to 2 ml of fractionated coconut oil is recommended for adults, and 1 drop of essential oil to 10 ml for children. And children include dogs, cats, birds. It could go a little bit stronger for a horse if it's a larger horse. Aromatically, we are born with diffusers, but the other great way is to use a diffuser. I do it wrong every time. Just there above my finger is the petal diffuser, and that's a great way to inexpensively improve the air quality of your home. And also the oils work on us emotionally, so it helps us to be much happier and healthier. Then in food, and tonight we're going to look at food, but I do recommend don't use any essential oil in food. Always just go with the best quality, because there's a lot of oils out there that are synthetic, and you don't want to be putting those toxins into your system. So just a couple of guidelines before we get started on the yummy part of tonight. So one of the main reasons why people incorporate essential oils into their recipes is because of the simplicity of adding 1 or 2 drops of a specific essential oil versus spending time chopping and slicing. But it's extremely important to use essential oils the right way so that you can experience the health benefits while also avoiding overpowering your meals with flavours that are way too intense. I've learnt that the hard way. Remember these 3 words: convert, dilute, and delay. So convert, remember that essential oils is a concentrated portion of the original source. So if you can imagine in distillation, they have this plant, and with the steam distillation or cold pressing, they're actually taking the foliage away from the essential oils. That's why they end up, when it's a herb, it ends up about 50 to 70 times more potent than the herb itself. So a good rule of thumb is to use 1 drop of oil, but to put on a teaspoon and then to add it into your recipe. So if you end up with too many, you can always tip them back into your bottle. Dilute. Hello, Michelle Mansfield. Dilute. Another thing to remember when cooking with essential oils is that they should be diluted into a lipid first. So that means into an oil. This not only keeps us safe, but it also helps to ensure the flavour. And also that the oil gets dispersed throughout the whole dish. So for savoury recipes, dilute in a bit of olive oil or coconut oil and then stir that into a recipe. For a sweet recipe, add it to your honey or to your syrup, works really well. And the delay for hot dishes, so if you've been cooking it on the stove, wait till the end of the process before adding the essential oil, so that, because essential oils are volatile and they are relatively fragile and they disperse very quickly in high heat. So add them, take your food off the heat, wait a minute or 2, and then add in your essential oil. So I'm going to share with you 10 of my favourites, but it's like having, I don't know, 90 or 100 children and then trying to choose your 10 favourites, because, yes, I chop and change. So sorry for the extreme amount of writing. So lavender is great. It's such a gentle aroma. and it's lovely in, it has a delicate floral, so it's lovely in vanilla ice cream. Soften your ice cream, add, or soften 3 litres of ice cream, add 1 drop of lavender, stir it through, put your ice cream back in the fridge. I find the lavender needs a little bit of sweet with it, otherwise it's a bit interesting. Lovely lady up the road made some lavender scones, and that was yum. There's a few recipes out there. Peppermint is a very popular oil because it's cool and refreshing, and it also increases your level of energy. And just 1 drop, at our regular talk in Mackay, somebody said they found a brownie recipe and it had 20 drops of peppermint. You had to add 20 drops of peppermint oil in it. Well, obviously they were using an inferior quality essential oil. So 1 drop of peppermint is more than enough, because if that lady who lived in Mackay put 20 drops in, I would have smelled it here an hour and a half's drive away. All the citrus oils, whether you use lime, lemon, grapefruit, or even tangerine, you'll really enjoy these oils because of the variety of recipes, and including smoothies that you can use them in. I want to pull bergamot out. It's citrusy, and it is a citrus, comes from the plant. The fruit actually looks like a big lemon, but it's a very elegant recipe. I actually haven't tried it in the scones, but I've tried it in I have it in my black tea to make Earl Grey tea, but I've tried it in different drinks, and also with white chocolate. And bergamot is an elegant, much more gentle flavour than some of the other citruses. Cinnamon bark works really well in sweet dishes to replace powdered cinnamon bark. So think things like French toast or extra cinnamon boost in your cinnamon rolls. But dilute it properly to protect its sensitiveness, and use only 1 or 2 drops per recipe. And cinnamon is very good for helping us with our sugar cravings, and also helping with digestion. Cardamom. Cardamom's an interesting aroma, but yesterday we went fishing and we caught a very large longfin tuna, and so last night I used some cardamom and some fennel, some salt and pepper, and then put that on the outside and quickly cooked the tuna steaks. Yum, yum, yum. Cardamom and cinnamon put together creates the chai flavour, which is great in desserts, but also, again, in my tea. And that's a yummy combination for meat dishes. Ginger. Add ginger to sweet treats like ginger snaps, gingerbread, and spice drinks, but also try it in your sauces for savoury dishes and stir fries and marinades. Thyme. Thyme is a magic plant and essential oil, and you'll see on Facebook from time to time different tea recipes or people using thyme as a tea. And how we could use it as a tea is just have a cup of warm water and put a drop of thyme in. And it's on those videos on Facebook, they're talking about how thyme is beneficial to many health things related to our health. It's a savoury flavour, great for main courses, especially meat. It's quite herbaceous. So it's yummy in soups and stews and also baked goods. Fennel. Fennel has an aniseed, licorice taste. And because it's powerful, you need to go, I would get used to using the oils before I move to fennel. Oregano is another one that's quite strong. In a big pot of meat sauce, I'll put 1 drop. I made some hummus in a dish about this much and put 1 drop in. Well, the dogs loved it, but it was too strong for us humans. So in that case, what I do is just put a toothpick in the top and swizzle that around if it's a smaller dish. Then cilantro is used a lot in Asian dishes. So cilantro is the leaves, coriander is the roots. And when you go and buy it at the shop, it's usually just called coriander. But I also love to use basil for having a mental blank. I know a lady out at Charles Towers adds it to her gravy. I love to put basil over my salads. I eat a lot of greenery in my salads at lunchtime, and I will change it out. So basil some days with olive oil and balsamic vinegar, or rosemary. Rosemary is another great one. We'll do a fish dish and add the rosemary to the crumbs and coat the fish with that. That's really yummy. And then I pour some more rosemary on top because I'm a bit of a rosemary, have a rosemary addiction, I think. Okay, have you got your phones ready so that you can take some happy pics of different recipes? So cumin rainbow salsa. So cumin's another one that has an interesting aroma, but yeah, it's very yummy when it's added in into a salsa. So it's full of tomatoes and peppers, or capsicums as we call them in Australia, and corn and onions, and so it's a fabulous accompaniment to a side salad, or a salad to take to if you're sharing a meal, you know, going out to somebody's house and sharing a meal. It's a great one to take because, as you see back here, it's so colourful, so it just gets people talking and then opens the door when you mention that you have an essential oil in it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. See, chocolate and ginger just goes really well. So here's the recipe. So this is just made on ordinary flour, but I'm sure with a little bit of playing around, you could adapt it to other flours. So message me if you haven't taken a happy snap. The next one is lazy avocado sushi. This is my kind of sushi because I love avocado. And so it has avocado, brown rice, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and a toothpick of ginger essential oil and sesame seeds. So you could, the essential oil variations could be lemongrass, lime, wild orange, and then your toppings can be different as well. You could add some raw salmon, tuna or yellowtail, cooked prawns, pineapple, mango, coconut shavings, and a bit of lemon or lime. And you could even throw in some fish sauce. Claudia's just asked what other flours do I use. Almond flour, coconut flour. One I want to try, a lady was telling me the other day, is banana flour. So there's, and actually another one that I love to use is, actually I don't know if I've used it as a flour, but it's the same sort of thing, is sweet potato. Hello, Robin Lenny Weber. Okay, ginger shrimp and mango skewers with paleo crema. Yep, I know. Claudia was asking about what flour to use for the waffles. I haven't practiced another flour on these yet, Claudia. I've just used the normal flour, but I need to get adventurous. But yes, I think my challenge with coconut flour is you need to use so little, and I find it very filling, but I'm looking forward to trying banana flour. So the lazy avocado sushi, We've been through that. Now, coming into the festive season, this one is brilliant for that time. And so you can make the marinade and the crema ahead of time or just beforehand. So I didn't convert that. So that's half a kilo of prawns, olive oil, red pepper flakes or chili flakes, and just enough for flavour. So lemon zest, clove, ginger and lemon essential oil, and some fresh cilantro, because I think you'd have to be very careful not to go too heavy with a cilantro oil in there. And then there's also essential oil, lemon essential oil in the crema. And see how they've got the zest of the lemon as well as the lemon essential oil. I find I need that in a lot of dishes that I do, or I need the juice. Or actually, that's what it's got there, the juice, because the oil gives it the essential oil gives it the lemon flavour, but it doesn't have that little zing. And some recipes do need the zing from the juice. Next is rosemary zucchini fettuccine. See, I told you I was hooked on rosemary. And this is a simple dish. You can use butternut squash, coconut oil, yellow onion, cloves, sprig of rosemary, which is optional, and then coconut milk, veggie broth, sea salt, tomatoes, and 3 pounds. So that's 1.5 kilos of zucchini. And then you can take a happy pick and create that one. This is another great one for summertime. Let me, jumping. Because that one, I was going to say that one I quite like sort of lukewarm as well, but then I eat a lot of my food lukewarm. So depending on your taste, well, actually, from some research that I've done, it's my need to eat food lukewarm and not hot. And so, but that one goes well as a served warm or served cool. And more rosemary, and rosemary and mashed potatoes is just yum. I'm not too fussy. These are all dough recipes from doTERRA, and I'm not too fussy about the breed of potatoes I use, because lots of times we don't have a choice living in a small community. But simple as to make, and super yummy. And so what's rosemary good for? It's good for our memory. It also helps us during times of transition, changing from jobs or changing house. Just helps us deal with all of that. Spicy glazed sweet potatoes. Another addiction of mine is sweet potato. So butter, honey, lime, allspice, and cinnamon bark oil and ginger oil over 1 kilo of sweet potatoes. And then some fresh thyme. Thyme grows quite easily in the garden. It says somebody who doesn't have any at the moment. So then, okay, see down here it says halfway down, if a bowl is not large enough to mix everything together isn't available, place the potatoes on the baking pan and pour the glaze over them and tossing them to coat them is another great yummy way to do it. Okay. This is an interesting little recipe, carrot and ginger rice with mint. So it's basically the rice with carrot juice over it and some ginger essential oil, and then a bit of mint to balance it out. So that's it. And just gives us something of a different colour on the dining table. Cumin pan tilapia. This recipe I would use on lots of different sorts of fish. So smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, cumin, chili powder, black pepper, dried oregano, and fish fillets and olive oil. Then your coleslaw is green cabbage and red cabbage and shredded carrots. That's my staple for my coleslaw. And then you can add in your capsicum, but just check with who your guests are going to be. A lot of people can't eat capsicum. Add in some green onions, lime, honey, garlic, and cilantro and cumin and yummo. And then there's the recipes of how to cook both of them down there. Just yum. Okay, the next one, Moroccan beef tagine. Paprika, cinnamon, salt, ginger essential oil, red peppers, and then black pepper, half a kilo of roast beef or beef roast, olive oil, and then some stock and tomatoes and squash. And basically throw it all in a pot and let it cook away. So see, in this case, we added the essential oils earlier in the piece, and I do see that in lots of recipes, even though I said at the beginning, if you can, add it in at the end. So who loves Brussels sprouts? Can I have thumbs up if you love Brussels sprouts? Actually, no, a love heart if you love Brussels sprouts and a thumbs up if you don't. Because this recipe, I find that a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts, but I think they've just never had it cooked the right way. So let's have a look at this. So I've actually done this recipe with both Brussels sprouts and asparagus together, and then another time I did it with just the asparagus. And so it's just asparagus, Brussels sprouts, olive oil, salt, and lemon essential oil and some water. Hello, we've got some love hearts happening. Woohoo, very good. And so you halve the Brussels sprouts, add them to water, boil for 4 or 5 minutes, but don't overdo them. Brussels sprouts are always yummier if they're still al dente. Drain them and then saute the sprouts, add the lemon, then add your asparagus and toss. And it's just yum. I could eat a big bowl of that. So now what? Who's on here? So, whoops. So now what is just looking at, jump over here because I got engrossed and didn't move my sheets of paper. So now what is a couple of ways that you can get your essential oils, and my life has changed since the essential oils came in on the scene, and I was just sharing with somebody the other day. Here he is. This is what started me. Oh, it was Claudia I was sharing with. This is what started me on my essential oil, this tiny little bottle of ice blue, and my shoulder was very cranky, and as I drove from Air back here, I took a little bit of that and put it on the front where it was hurting, and then noticed that started relieving, so I put a little drop on the back where it was hurting, and in no time at all my shoulder was much happier. And that's all it took for me to go, I need to know more about that. So if any of the oils that you saw tonight you'd like to have a try of, I can post you 10 drops in a little bottle like this so you can trial the recipe. But then starting your essential oil journey, you could buy them retail, but I don't recommend that, because if you have a membership, a membership costs $35 and you'll get 25% off all year long. But by starting with some of the kits that are on offer, and I haven't got them on here tonight, you can, you can save that $35 plus get way more discounts on the oils when starting with the kit. And the other great thing of having a wholesale account, which is like a Costco account or a health club account, is the amount of freebies. And doTERRA is really, really generous. So it's just amazes me all year long at how much I end up getting for free. And then I will teach all of you how to do that. So then, any questions that you would like to answer? Claudia's been typing madly here. Let me have a look. Ton of time, the garden must give you some. Yes, please, I'll have some time. Thank you, Claudia. So let me just look up. Is there questions here? There is. So if anybody wants to message me with questions or on that Facebook, let me just check on Messenger that there's no no questions. Okay, so let's go back. Hello, Tina. How are you? You'll have to go back and start at the beginning, Tina. But it'll be, I have recorded this, and so it will be on this Facebook page for people to come back and watch. So, seeing there's no questions, hello? I can hear something somewhere. Page for people to come back and watch. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for tuning in this evening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to connect, or if you would like to try the oils in any of the recipes, message me, because I'm happy to send them out to you. Okay, Kim, do you do these for your workshops? Do you mean, do I open my kitchen up and cook for people? I could do, but I haven't done. What I have done is I've had social gatherings and invited people to bring a dish of food along with an essential oil in it. And that's always a lot of fun. Even if we need to catch up a few days beforehand and I give the people the essential oil that they are wanting. But say Kirsty up the road lives 3 or 4 doors up, so we get together occasionally. What did we do recently? Oh, what was on special? Oh, the tangerine, and we had a tangerine drink, and we had tangerine in the dessert, and I put something else different in the something, whatever other food. But Kim, you could, you know, you could, instead of doing all of these at a workshop, I would just narrow it down to 3 or 4, or just make it as a bit of a lunch party or a dinner party, and everybody gets together and, you know, maybe say, what's if, you know, say you made a dish and I made a dish. We could do it all at your place, but instead of just you doing everything, it's great to get different ones involved, and then it just makes it more fun. So, okay, if there's any questions, please message me. And actually, where's my calendar? So the newsletter went out this morning, but also I'd just like to let you know that on the Monday the 26th, and now I've worked out how to do Zoom on Facebook. I'll do it on this Facebook page. We'll do a make and take. That's Monday the 26th at 7:30. And then on December the 10th, on a Monday, I'm going to do oils of the Bible, because the oils are mentioned lots of times in the Bible. They were used they were our first medicine, and they're mentioned in the Bible, lots of ways of how to use them. So I'm going to cover that on the 10th of December. So the next one is a make and take on the 26th, and then essential oils of the Bible on the 10th of December. So thanks, everybody, and thanks for all your questions. That was fabulous. If I go stop share.